book tours?
Book tours. Book tours are
Not very often.
not for scholarly books. One of the things that we really, really appreciate is if you let us know when you're going to be at conferences and you know that they have a book table, or if we can actually be at the conference on your behalf and have a table and sell some of your books. But book tours are expensive. And budgets are given for a book, and usually, sometimes we can get funding from, I think it's Canadian Heritage that
Canada Council.
Canada
There's
Council.
some money coming from Canada Council.
But it's very minimal.
But I just, sorry, you can sometimes, if you're going to a particular city and there is something, I mean, in other words, that your new book is being actively published, you know, we're actively promoting it or marketing it. It can happen that since you're incurring the cost of getting there, we would approach local media and see if there'd be any interest in talking to you. Since you're already in that city, the costs are fairly limited. So that can happen too.
And we can approach a local bookseller.
Local booksellers as well.
And say, this person's going to be here giving a talk, would you bring in some? And you can take the horse to the water, but you can't always make them drink, you know? So sometimes they will say, yeah, great, I'll take 3 copies. Think, oh, that's nice.
Regarding the book cost, you mentioned the e-book and then the regular books, and then how much cost you can save to publish different types of book, and all, will that affect the royalty to pay over to the author?
I think the thing to understand here is, first of all, that no university press is only publishing solely in electronic format. That there is always a paper book. A paper book, in our case, always comes first. And the ebook is available for library purchase. Libraries are under, several of their own physical restrictions, and so often libraries at large research-intensive universities face space crises and have to house books at off-campus locations and various things. And so for those types of reasons, they will sometimes ask to, will prefer to purchase an electronic book because it doesn't take any shelf space, because they're happy to purchase a book that can be consulted by many people at once. So, we all know the frustration of going to the shelf, finding that the book is out, having to recall the book, and so on and so forth. So there's certain advantages like that can be overcome with the electronic book, but that there's no way in which that is replacing the actual book itself, and it's only supplementing it. And in terms of cost, the really important thing to consider is that the fixed costs of producing the book, the copy editing, the typesetting, the editorial time that it takes your book to get adequately peer-reviewed, all the overheads in terms of distribution and production and marketing, if you subtract the cost that it takes to pay a printer to purchase the paper and ink and bind your book, all of those other costs still remain. And so electronic publication is not a way of reducing the capital that is invested by publishers in developing a book substantially. It's true that in some cases, if you don't have to print the book, you don't have to buy the paper, you don't have to buy the ink, you don't have to do all of this stuff, but those fixed costs remain, and that's why and scholarly publishers are notable for the amount of effort they invest in those types of things, like copy editing, like typesetting, like getting the book right from all of those points of view, and those costs remain whether it's an electronic book that you can get through your library online catalog, or through an electronic library that's a commercial subscription library online, or any of the other ways in which ebooks are disseminated.
They still have to be designed, they still have to be proofread, copy edited. All of those costs are still there, whether it's an ebook or or a physical book.
And then if you do an ebook, it has to be digitized and marked up,
Yes,
depending on
yeah.
what format you.
Yeah, and there's a cost there too.